Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this morning's live. Rick Gomez coming to you from El Paso, Texas. Getting everything situated here. Trying to get. Have you ever had so many ideas come to your head that you're just wondering, like, what ideas do I choose? Which is the one that I work on? What do I, and how do I add value today? And so, if you've been around my lives lately, you'll know that every morning I go into my ChatGPT and I look to see what I did with ChatGPT yesterday, because a lot of times my thoughts and my ideas, good morning, everybody. Owen, Lord J, M, Traveling Love, all you guys, welcome to the live this morning. Every morning before I go, or when I go live, I look at my ChatGPT, which you see in the bottom half of your screen on your phone, and I look through what I talked about yesterday or worked on, and it's funny because, again, I'm a big ChatGPT user for problem solving, because at the end of this day, or at the end of the day, you are either a problem maker or a problem solver. And if you're going to be a problem solver, then you need to have tools. And tools and skills come from you wanting to learn. And so I'm sharing that ChatGPT should be part of your skill set, and it should be part of your skill set. It should be something that you're learning every single day, learning new things about. And I have my friends that know that I do these things, and that I play around with tools, and they want to know, hey, have I ever heard how to do this? Have I ever learned how to do that? And and so yesterday, I had a friend of mine who I know here. She works for a local cemetery, or cemetery and funeral homes here in El Paso, and they have to do a report that actually counts all the obituaries by date, by funeral home, to sort of kind of get a corporate competitive advantage, to try to figure out, what's going on in the market. Are some customers going to other funeral homes? And she wanted to know how I could help her create this report. And I said, yeah, I'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we can do. And so there's a process that she uses, but that's manual. And anytime that you're doing something manual and you don't like doing it manual, then you think of ways to do it automated, more simple, right? Keep it simple. And so while we're sitting there, and I had my phone with me, I started just putting in putting in some requirements, asking ChatGPT, and I had done this before. I had done this before we sat down to eat, so I wasn't doing this while we were eating. And so, but and again, it was very high level. I was just, like they call, spitballing to see what would come out. And so I asked her, what. Let's see what I put up here. So the prompt was, I have a friend who has to do a weekly report of the obituaries in El Paso, Texas. She usually gets the info from the obituaries in the El Paso Times, and now each funeral home's websites. So she went from looking at all the obituaries in the newspaper, but then that wasn't a good count, because obituaries have become so expensive that people don't go there because they just put the obituary on the website of that funeral home. And so now she has to go into each of the funeral homes and pull that info. And so and again, you got to work through all the issues. Where's the data? Where's the inputs? And then what are you going to do with it? And then what are you going to do afterwards? And so I asked ChatGPT to help me organize what she wanted to do. And now I know this doesn't have a lot to do with my daily building income, daily pay gold mine, but I do love sharing solutions. I want to be, a problem solver, not a problem maker. And one of the things, so if you give me a favor real quick, tap, 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 share this thing out there for a couple of you, just share it out there. I'm trying to build the momentum here to get people that would be interested in not only creating a daily income, plus also being a problem solver. And so ChatGPT came back and said, let's define the format of the report, which is good, and it has the name of the deceased, the age. Doesn't really matter about the age, but the date of the passing, the funeral home, and the service info. And then, it says that it could put it into a Google Sheet, an Excel file, or a Word document, depending on the needs. And then it's going to gather the sources. So the obituaries are usually here at this www.legacy.com. The websites of all the local funeral homes. Step 3, automate some data collection. Again, you can, there's programs out there now that you can write that'll go out to a site and scrape it and get the information from there. And you can, again, if that's what your work requirements are, then it can do it for you, so you don't have to do it. And that's the part that she doesn't like. She doesn't like have to go each individual website. But you can set up ChatGPTs now to run these automated tasks that every morning at a certain time, it'll go out there and get this information for you and put it into a spreadsheet. And so, it talks about how she can automate data collection. ChatGPT can write a prompt and a script she can run weekly to copy, paste, or review obituary listings. If she uses ChatGPT, she can paste the obituaries from each site and help summarize them into a table format. And eventually we can train a simple AI scraper or automation workflow like Zapier or Make to pull public obituary data if allowed. And then thanks for those hearts. I love them. Tap, tap, tap. More hearts if you like it. We're just talking about how to use ChatGPT in everyday kind of in your job and what you're doing. I appreciate all those hearts. And then of course in step 4, the final weekly report output, and she can turn it into a PDF, a Word document, and whatever she has to do. Again, so now it's on her a little bit to say, okay, I think we can figure out a way for ChatGPT to help her get her information. She has to decide on what the format she wants, how she wants it. So last night it was just an off-the-cuff comment that she made, but you got to be ready for those off-the-cuff comments that people make, because those are the opportunities. The opportunities come when somebody has a problem and you have a way to solve that problem. And so anyway, so that was one of the things that we talked about that, and and then I typed into ChatGPT that because she kept changing her requirements on me, right? And that's okay, because you don't know what you don't know until you start talking and having this dialogue. And so I said, so she's being difficult and changing requirements. LOL. So she says she goes to each website and she goes by service dates, not when they pass away. Just need the name and the date of service for each funeral home. And then ChatGPT replies, got it. We'll keep it super simple. Just go by the name of the deceased, the service date, and the funeral home. And then so it gives me an idea for different, like a report format. Then she'll go and see every funeral home's website, skims for upcoming services, copies just the name, the service date, and the funeral home, and pastes into the table above. And again, ChatGPT says, "Hey, you want me to make this a fillable template that she can just go in there and just start filling out." And so we've done that before. The filling out template. It just ideally the this thing would just automatically pull, and you want that information to come back this way. But anyway, so that's enough about that funeral stuff, because that's just solving problems. And again, I go back, and when I do these lives, I like to hold on just 1 second. I like to look at what I was using my ChatGPT for yesterday. And then my next one was creating a graduation anthem. So I have a friend who has a daughter in high school, and I know you might know that I've been playing around with this Suno AI music generator, and I wanted to create an anthem, a graduation song for Caitlin. And I wanted it to be from her parents, and I wanted it to be something that she could remember, or this time of her life, right? And I don't know. I know that we don't remember those times of our lives, but there has to be a special moment that she'll remember that she'll like. And so I poked around with a couple of different ideas, and I put it out here. Hold on just a second. Oh, you know what? Okay. Cooling down my computer. Okay. All right. So, so going back to this. So I've been playing a lot with this Suno AI generated voice songwriting tool. And for $10, so daily, you can go and do, you can get 50 credits a day. And it just, once you use up those 50 credits, it'll refresh at the same time tomorrow. And that sort of kind of gives you a limited, what do you want to call it? Limited number of songs. If you don't get it right, you can't, just go back and redo. So you use up a lot of your credits fast. So what I found was that for $10 a month, you can get 2,500 credits, and that's a lot of songs. And so I just went ahead and did the $10, because $10 a month helps me get some ideas. The songs that I like, I'll end up publishing into an example book, a song book, a show me book kind of thing, where you use it's like your what would they call that? Your proof. The kind of songs you generate, the kind of styles that's available. It also helps me convey to them what's possible. And nowadays, what's possible, everybody? Anything is possible. You just have to use your imagination. And so I was coming up with these songs, and I liked them, but I still got to work a little bit on them. I think this is the one I like the best here. I'm going to play it with it for you. Let me see if I can get it to play in the background. Let me put that little, click on that. Hello. So my computer's saying that the CPU is underclocking detected. And, oh, there it goes. Anyway, so what are y'all doing this morning? Where are y'all coming in from? Where y'all watching from? Let me know. And for whatever reason now, this thing is frozen. We'll come back to that in a minute. And it'll automatically pop up. Anyway, so another thing I use my ChatGPT for is that I use it to create the songs and the ideas. Um, you have to prompt ChatGPT for what the situation is, and I told my ChatGPT, so we are in high school graduation time of the year, and one of my friend's daughters is graduating and wants to become a lawyer. She was part of student council, varsity softball team, and a leader at the school. Write a generic song about for her graduation as an anthem for her to follow and reach her dreams. Her name is Caitlin, and uh, and so it came and said, "Here, go be the light, Caitlin." And it's a graduation anthem. It gives me the intros, gives me the words, the verses, the chorus, and and so I don't know what it sounds like at this point. I just know that I have words, and I know that the what I like about this is that the words are the hardest part, you know. But if you give it a little bit of feeling and inputs into your description, it'll put those word types into your song. And so let me see if I can get it here. This is not coming up. Frozen. Someone get out of it. There you go. All right. So let's get back to business. So anyway, using ChatGPT, I come out here and I see what did I research yesterday, and so that was the graduation anthem for Caitlin. Also, you know, some of you, I've shared with you guys that I'm a substitute teacher in my retirement also, and right now I'm working in a special needs unit for kids with autism. And if you ever have been around an autistic child, you'll know that they do a lot of repetitive. That they do a lot of repetition. They just do the same thing over and over again. And the word that they use in that industry. Now, I'm not a behavioral specialist or anything like that, but I liked when they tell me a word, I like to put a word in and sort of kind of get educated on that word and why it's important. And so I had put the word stemming in there, and I spelled it like that, STEMMING, and then it says, well, it means this. It means just doing from running to run, faster to fast, and it just talks about making the word shorter or where the word came from, the stem of the word. And I said, no, that's not what I was looking for. So how about with respect to autism? I added. Then ChatGPT came back and said, well, in the context of autism, stemming likely refers to something different. You're probably thinking of stemming, STIMMING, and not stemming. And so and so what is stemming? Stemming is a short for self-stimulatory behavior, repetitive movement, sounds, or actions often used by individuals with autism as a way to regulate sensory input, express emotions, or manage stress. And, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, so in the room, they have it, some days it's a little bit more subdued, some days it's bright, some days the windows are, the shades are down halfway. And so that's just because they're taking all this sensory stuff in, right? The teacher has some YouTube videos with calming music. I call it cat sleep music because it's just real musical, instrumental, and it just makes the kids relax. And whenever you listen to those songs, it relaxes them. And so so that's part of that. The stimulation that's coming out from the outside. You'll see autistic kids do a lot of rocking. We have one little boy that goes side to side. We have others that'll tap their fingers like that, which is, again, there's nothing wrong with it. Just that's the way they process stuff. And we got 7 kids, and each one of them is a little bit different. And it's exactly what it's just common examples of stimming. Hand flapping, like this, or they rock back and forth. They spin objects. So that, yeah, some of them have some spinners. Um, they repeat words. They tap their fingers or flick their fingers, and repetitive noises and humming. So when so to me, as a self-educated kind of person, if I see that, now I know that they're going through they're regulating something that's bothering them or that's in their system. And so, and the purpose of all that stimming is self-soothing, calms them down. Sensory regulation, manages the overwhelming sensory inputs from around what we have. And again, that's why they don't like loud noises, sudden noises, because that sensory, they're just so sensitive to all that. Expressions may communicate joy, frustration, and other feelings. So even though they don't speak sometimes, they're feeling something. And so yeah, so it's just something that I wanted to get more information on. Now, is stimming a problem? Now, usually it's a natural behavior, and in most cases it's harmless and doesn't need to be stopped unless it's self-injurious. It hurts them, is disruptive or dangerous to the person or others. And you just never know how they're gonna react to things. And so yeah, so sometimes we have one boy that does some head banging on the desk, and another little girl that hits her head with her hands like this. So but we put a helmet on her so it won't hurt her, and that other boy hits his head on the desk. He feels it and he stops it pretty much on his own, but you just don't ever know when they're going to do it, so you can't prepare for it. For the untrained, it is very scary. The first time I saw it, I was freaked out. But I've come to understand that that's how they operate, and I give them their space, and again, just try to make sure that they don't get hurt, and so that's about that. Again, we don't try to stop stimming. We understand the function behind it, and we create the safe alternatives if needed. The teacher there, again, I'm an aide. I come in as a helping hand. The teacher does most of this stuff, but I'm learning a lot. Let me put it that way. So then, let's see, what else did I type in yesterday? I was working on I helped a friend yesterday with a song for her Bible study class. And the song came out pretty good, but she was talking a lot about grace, and I keep hearing about grace and listening about grace, and then I said, so give me a grace refresher. And I came out here and it said, grace is when you get what you don't deserve and don't get what you do. And so, again, when they talk about spiritual meaning of grace, grace is God's unearned favor. It's the power behind every healing, every second chance, every breath you didn't deserve but were given anyway. And who doesn't fit in those categories? Every day that we come out here, every day that we help somebody, every day that we don't help somebody, you get this unmerited favor. You didn't earn it, but it's given freely. Forgiveness extended, not because you were right, but because love chose to cover your wrongs, and the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. I don't know when it was. So the very first time I ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that hierarchy just basically starts with, there's like 5 levels of it, and one of them, when you become self-aware and you get to the top and you're always just thinking about, who am I in this big world, you get to that part where you're trying to figure out, who am I? and they call that self-actualization. And and again, who am I, and who am I becoming, and who do I want? And so I think I've told you guys before that I've done in my personal introspection and figured out my three callings are a leader, a teacher, and an encourager. I lead. I go do things by myself ahead of somebody else because I want to learn. I want to know how to make something easier for the next person to learn. And so I lead, I teach on what I learned, and try to make it a little bit easier for the next person. And then I encourage people because I would say this before. We all suck when we're trying to make a change. We're terrible. We don't do it right. We make mistakes. We have failures. But you have to go through all that to break through. And so I just want to make sure that you know that that you can break through whatever you're going through. It's not easy, but it's not hard. And it just takes repetition. Repetition, doing the thing that you want to do, learning. So, case in point, on my screen, you see a couple different things. I learned how to add text on the bottom of my top screen. That's one thing. Then I learned how to do another text on top of that. And I hadn't thought about it at the time. But I said, how can I, because this will turn into a question. Sooner or later, I'm going to put these in a form where that tells you what I'm going to be talking about for that day. That way, when you come in or whoever's watching these videos, I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you go into a TikTok live, you don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I don't like that because there's no place to put. I mean, there's a little blurb that pops up, who I am and what I do, but then it scrolls up and you miss it and it's not there anymore. And I'm thinking like, no, I need to put something so that it's always there. And any information that they want, they can go and connect with me at that website there on the blue. And so I just, again, I'm using this format to create 90 minutes of content that I'll download and then I'll upload to YouTube. And if I can figure out how to do that directly, then I'll figure that out. And then from YouTube, once I get a link, I put it into my Opus Clips, and the Opus will take that 90-minute presentation and cut it up into a bunch of reels or clips and reels for shorts. So it's just working through the process to maximize my time, because once I complete this 90 minutes, I have to let it sit on TikTok and process and get it to where it downloads it and keeps the recording up on TikTok. And then once I get to work in the morning, I will take that download it to my phone, and then upload it to YouTube, and then take that link from YouTube over to my Opus Clips, and then after lunch I'll have like about 40 clips that I can start putting into my calendar in Opus Clips that'll automatically post those video clips and keep me out there in front of people and keep putting my link out there. So I appreciate the hearts. Thank you for sharing. Eli, Ryan, who else is there out there? Ryan, you've been there before. Thanks so much for sharing the live. I was just talking about how I'm learning, and we all are learning something new every day. We're sharing. It's in the mornings when I scroll through my TikTok and I see what other people are doing. It's real easy to fall into the trap of, oh, I need to be doing that, or I need to be doing that. I disagree. I think you ought to be doing you. Figure out what it is that you want to do and just do what you want to do. Don't be a copycatter. Be an original person that does your own thing. Now, the the product I promote right here is about learning. I used to get my learning from all those books back there, but now they have it so everything's online and you can learn online and it's all digital. So for the price of all those books and all that time, now you can have all that knowledge and experience and skills in one place. And the bigger part of that thing is there's a community. There's a lot of people that are learning, just like you're learning, this new skills. At the end of the day, skills is where it's at. If you don't have any skills, then you really don't have any value to add to anyone. So I'm here to help you get some skills that you can market in out there in the real life. If you add value, remember, you add value, and the more value that you add to people, and the more that you can add, that's the way you make money. In this economy, there is no, you can find a job, and that's fine. But sooner or later, you're going to say, I need to make more money. And jobs aren't the place to make more money. But now if you're an engineer and you're finding oil in the deep Gulf, and they're going to pay you $200,000 a year to help them find oil, well, you're going to make some money, but you're going to work your ass off. And you're going to be always under pressure for producing. Find me that next oil well that's going to produce. And so you'll be, so it's everything comes with a price. And so when I always tell the kids at the school that, if you don't want to do anything with your life and have it easy peasy, then just go get a job at McDonald's, because that's about as easy as it's going to get. You're going to trade time for money. They're going to pay you. You're going to make burgers, and you can do that for the rest of your life and be happy. Well, you'll try to be happy. You think you're happy. But sooner or later, you're going to be saying, like, man, I'm tired of being on my feet. I'm tired of picking up after kids. And you just sort of kind of just start selling yourself on, I should be doing something else. And so we all evolve, but we all start out at the same place. It's when you make that decision to start climbing the ladder about where you're going to be in the future. And so you have to start becoming that person that you know that's inside of you, and you want to get out, but you have to really fight and look for it. And like I said, to me, I've done all kinds of different things. I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, so from cutting grass to cooking in a fast food place to one time I even put shingles on a roof. Another times I was helping a guy hang those flags that they put at the car lots when I was a kid. I was doing that. So there's a lot of jobs that I did that I didn't want to do in my life, because I was not going to like it. I always tell the story that when I was in high school, I had wanted to you had to choose your electives. I'd wanted to take a plumbing course, and back then my dad said, you're not going to be a plumber. And I said, why not? It's a good skill. You're not going to be a plumber. So he had other ideas for me before that. And so I told him, I said, okay, how about if I join the service, the Army? Because he used to be in the Army Reserves, and I always liked the Reserves. And I said, how about the Reserves in the Army? He goes, you're not going to be in the Army either. For whatever reason, he didn't want me to go down these paths. I don't know if he saw something else in me. He lived long enough to see me go work for the company I work for, and he saw me do my 25 years there. And then when he passed, I never had a chance to figure out or ask him, did I do what I thought? And we never had this conversation. And I'm sad to say that I never asked him about why did he not want me to be a plumber? Why did he not want me to be a truck driver? Why, did he see something that I didn't see at the time? And so anyway, the long story short of the whole thing was that people see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And I try to do that to other people. Like my friend who does those reports, she gets stuck in that mindset. I got to do this report, But man, she has a Rolodex that's probably worth $1 million, and she knows so many people here in El Paso that, and she's very personable, and everybody loves her, and but you can't get them out of that mindset, right? It's too hard. It's too late. I can't do it. And all these little things pop up, and you get caught in that little trap of this is good enough, you know? And so I'm here to help people get past these. It's good enough. Try something different. Be doing, because to me, your life is going to be a reflection of all your experiences, of what you've done, what you haven't done, and you need to get out in front of what it is that you want to do, because at the end of the day, now is the time to do whatever you want. Whatever you've been dreaming about, you can do it. I saw a TikTok a little while ago that there's a girl says, hey, there's these programs that they'll program something. If you have an idea for an application, app, or whatever, all you got to do is have that first idea and then use ChatGPT to sort of kind of organize it and make it better. And you can put that into this system and it'll create you an app. Now here's the kicker. You can create the world's best app, but if you don't know how to market that app, you're just going to have an app. Now you'll get the satisfaction of having that app. Ryan, again, I appreciate you sharing the lives, brother. Thanks so much. The app it's great. So you created something. You used your imagination. You see something that people can use. The hardest part is that it's easy to have ideas, but how are you going to get it out there? How are you going to share with the people that can use it and will buy it from you? And so that's where marketing comes in. That's where knowledge comes in. That's where get some experience comes in. And again, you can spend time to read books like all those on that bookcase back behind me, or you can get this course here and just start learning from the course, because it's all condensed in there. There's personal development in there. There's marketing in there. There's social media in there. There's content creation in there. And then plus the community that it comes with. That to me is even the better part, because you're not alone. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't expect to be making thousands of dollars from the get-go. Or you can make 1,000. I won't put that way. You can make 1,000. But to do it consistently is where the kicker is. Because a lot of people just want that quick money now because I need money now. And that's not the way it works. You have to go into this thing with a long term. This is going to be my new life. This is what I do for a living from here on out. And hey, thanks Yak for sharing. I appreciate you guys. Yes, share it to as many people, everybody who's out there sharing, share. Because this is important information. I want people to know that you can make your life however you want it. You can be real low key and stay at the bottom, and that's fine. Or you can start climbing, which costs a little bit more time, a little bit more energy, a little bit more effort. But it's all relevant, because the more you climb up, the more money you can make. And that means that money is not the money to just to make the money, but it's you can travel, you can pay for your college kids' education, you can get rid of that 12-year-old car, you can get a new house, you can just eat better, live better, and your family can. And then this is a skill that if you get it going right, this will turn into you can invest that money. You can take money that you make from your business and put it into a piece of real estate, or an apartment complex. Or I was reading something the other day about a senior center, that the big new thing is senior centers, because there's so many seniors, baby boomers, that now don't have anywhere to go, and so there's a place there to have them go. Then there's people that are doing all kinds of things with tiny homes. People, the big houses, even the 2-bedroom apartments, all that, they're too big. So people are downsizing, and I just need a roof, a bed, a place to watch some TV, cook, but they make them into tiny homes. So now there's a big push for people to buy pieces of land and create tiny home parks where you could just have a tiny home put there. And you can see the mobile home parks there. So it just taking that one concept and changing it for the current times. And so I've had a lot of my friends tell me that, yeah, a smaller place, just so that they have it done and they don't have to worry about where they're going to live for the rest of their lives, that's a big blessing. And so they want to do that. Technology is helping people get the word out about different things. I'm into knowledge sharing, helping people learn different skills. Because and again, I appreciate all those hearts. Man, again, we're going over 3,500 hearts. Some of you guys are great tappers out there, and I appreciate you. And so, like I said, I use ChatGPT. You see it on my screen there for a little bit of everything to continue. Because again, one of the tools that I'll teach is that you have content in you. You just have to figure out a way to get it out of you so that you can talk about it. And people don't like talking off the top of their head. And right now I'm talking off the top of my head because I have this, my ChatGPT over here, or you see it down there in the screen below you. And I can use it to guide me. But I wanted to share with you just that you can have a ChatGPT cheat sheet right here with you and not be afraid. So the only thing you have to do now is get online, have your second screen, and second screens don't cost about this monitor here cost me like $97. And so all this stuff is about sharing, or not sharing, it's about putting your investing in yourself. All this is an investment in myself. Those books back there, it was an investment in me. My computer system that I have, an investment in me. When I bought this Freedom Blueprint, it was an investment in me. One of the reasons that I liked this Freedom Blueprint was because it was going to be on me to make it happen. I paid for it, I have it, and it's up to me. It wasn't up to them to make income for me. It was me to take the information that's in there and implement. So if you're an implementer, then this program's for you, because none of these other programs work if you don't implement. That's the number one thing that people fail to do, and that's implement. And so you got to get out of your own way. So my friend I was talking about too, I said, you have everything that you need to make a lot of money. You have the skills, you have the people. Well, you don't have the skills yet. She has the people, she has the personality, she has the ideas and all that, but she can't get past, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing that. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. A good friend of mine, one of my mentors, says, there's 1,000 different ways to do the same thing. So let's just go find that one of those 1,000 ways to help you do your business. Because at the end of the day, when you learn these skills, you can solve a problem for anybody. And again, you'll have the solution. Will they have the discipline to implement? Because I can tell you all these things, but can you implement? Because I can't implement for you. And like I said, I'm going to offer it to you. I'm going to market it to you. You're going to pay me. I'm going to be your coach, your guide. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to do the work for you. There's a community that you can attach yourself to. There's a community. There's a community. And then I'm self-driven. So that means that I go get books. I learn. I try. I fail. I try. I fail. And that's what people need to do. And especially right now, to me, again, I'm 65 years old, and I think this is the greatest time in the world. I mean, everything that's going on technology-wise, everything is in our hands. Like right now, I'm not holding a phone, but it looks like I'm holding a phone. No, I'm not holding a phone. but the output is coming out like as if I was on a phone. So that means that if you're seeing this live, you're probably seeing it on the phone. And they have it set up now where I'm at my desktop because I like sitting at a desk. I worked in an office for so many years that I like sitting at a desk. I like having my hands free. I like having two screens. I like working smarter, not harder. And so I really want to share that with people. And a lot of times people don't know where to start. And I'm telling you, start here. Go look at this Freedom Blueprint that we have. Go get it at that website that's on that screen. And then we can talk. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get to me is through that. Go, sign up, get into the program, and let's get you started. But enough of that. So now let's go back to some other content. Right now we're talking about, I get my ideas and my generation from the stuff that I did yesterday. A lot of that stuff comes from the people I talked to, the inputs that I put into my ChatGPT that gives me ideas to help solve other people's problems. And in this case here, I was talking with a friend of mine, and she was teaching a course, and we talked about grace. And again, grace is inner permission to grow without shame. Most people don't change because they're too busy judging themselves. Stop judging yourself. Grace says you are not your past. Grace says try again, but this time don't carry the guilt with you. Grace says it's safe to heal. You don't have to pay a price that's already been paid. And so, if you're not taking action, if you're not moving forward, forget about what the idea is. Because if you can't take that first step to change and go stumble and go make mistakes, you're not ready yet. And that's okay, because it takes a while for you to get over yourself, for you to realize that, if it's to be, it's... There was a cartoon that my daughter loved back when she was young, and it was the Sky Dancers. Sky Dancers. I don't know if y'all ever watched that. But when I would sit and watch with her, it would say, if it is to be, it's up to me. And that's it. And they were teaching that in that cartoon way back in 1994, around 95. And I was like, wow, that's good. Using cartoons to put messages into kids' lives, right? Now again, there's a good and there's a bad, so they can do all kinds of different ways. But I thought, if it is to be, it's up to me, and that is the idea behind, I think, living in and being a citizen of the United States. If it is to be for you, it's up to you. And again, you'll think all day long, no, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't speak English, I don't have computer skills, I don't know I don't know people. But you can get all that stuff. You just have to start doing it. And so focus on, not on what you don't have, is focus on what you have and what you're going to attain. So we're talking about grace. Again, it's grace in the mind, a reprogramming tool, because it's all in here. A lesson that I learned, and again, you may get it, you may not get it when I say it, but everything that's out here starts in here. My books, I need to learn how to do this one thing. So I would go to, back in the day, it was Borders Books or Barnes & Noble, and get a book. And I would look at it. Actually, I'd read like 5 or 10 books when I was sitting there drinking a coffee at Barnes & Noble. And then I'd buy the book that I thought would be the one that would help me the most. Then, went to school, got my education, got my job, was working, was learning. But I always had my antennas out looking for opportunities and looking to do different things. And this thing. Well, the internet was already there when I got started, but all the technology that kept changing, and the ways to help people get the message out, and because I think one of the first mindsets you got to get out of your head is that you have to be in a place to make an income. And I'll just use the hamburger place. If you want to go work at a burger joint, you can go do that, but that's the only time you're ever going to make money, when you're at that burger joint trading your time for dollars. And so anything when you have to spend time at a place, then that's all you're doing is trading time for money. But when you have a chance to create something and then turn it into 40, 50 pieces of content that goes across like 6, 7 marketing platforms that I use, then you're expanding yourself to all those places, plus all those views. And sometimes I don't even go back and see what's going on over there, because at the end of the day, what's important is that somebody sees this video, somebody says, I want to do what he's doing. I'm going to go to that website there, and I'm going to get that blueprint. And then from there, that's when the whole thing starts, because once you start doing that, once you start taking the action, you start shifting in your body and your feelings that, I want to learn. I want to know how to do this thing. And so it's up to you to if you're looking. And I had another mentor tell me, the timing has to be right. And the person has to be right. You may know that you need to do it, but the timing's not right. It just isn't the time for you to do stuff. When I first started doing all this stuff, I was married. But I was married to the wrong person. I mean, he's a great mother to my daughter. That's all good. She's a very smart person. But she was more employee-minded, and I was more entrepreneur-minded. And so a lot of times those things don't mix. And it's not that we couldn't figure out a way to make it work. It was too late, because I was going down one path, she was going down another path. And that usually that happens. But you just keep moving. And so you want to take all those lessons, find the ones that work for you, and use them, or discard them. And so one of the things was that I wanted to be online. I wanted to learn technology. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. I wanted to work, have the system work for me. So that's where I started learning about systems. And this Freedom Blueprint is all about systems. Because like I said, once I do this work, so I can do 90 minutes worth of work. But that 90 minutes is going to turn in times 10, 9 hours of work. 90 minutes turns into 9 hours, because my videos will be everywhere. People will be seeing this domain name. People will be getting my report. People will be seeing me talk about ChatGPT, about songwriting, and I did the work for 90 minutes, but it's getting out there. And so you have to build it. At first, we all start out with zero. We have 0 videos, we have 0 TikToks, we have 0 posts, we have 0, 0, zeros. But everybody starts at zeros. There's no way to get around it. And the only winners that happen is the people that keep putting stuff out there and keep building, and building on top of that, and building on top of that, and building on top of that, And TikTok is a perfect place, because the more you put content there, the more it's going to bring people to you, because the algorithm is bringing people that want to learn how to work from home, that want to learn a new skill. And there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of different things, but they want to do something different. And so TikTok is going to go find those people, and it's going to bring them to me. And it's going to bring them, and they're going to see the videos, they're going to see this, they're going to say, I want to see what he's doing. And you may think all this is the same, and you're going to say, hey, I've seen that before. Somebody else is doing it. You know what the difference is? They don't have me. They don't have my education. They don't have my experiences. They don't have everything that I've learned. And so that's what you get with my program when you purchase from me, because I'll be there to help mentor you, guide you. But the biggest thing that I'll help you do is I'm going to be a help you build that bridge from where you are to where you want to be. But then you have to start walking on your own. And I'm going to be with you. We're locked in arms, but you gotta, you have to take personal responsibility. And so even my friend who I talked to about TikTok Shop, because she's a shopper, I go, I think that'd be right up your alley. Find products that you like to market and market them. Because she's on TikTok all the time and she's buying stuff all the time. And she's still complaining about her income. I said, well, I can't do it for you, but if you want to learn it, I can show you how to learn it. So anyway, yeah, that's always a big negative about, and again, I try not to take it personally, but I can't. I'm just like, who am I hanging out with? Am I hanging out with people that want to solve problems and get ahead? Or am I still hanging around with people that they're sucking my energy? No, but I can't let her go. She's a real good friend, and I just sometimes your good friends get frustrated with them. But anyway, so we're coming up on the first hour of this. I want to change gears a little bit because I want to make sure that I talk about everything here. Let me see. So grace in relationships. When you practice grace with others, you listen before correcting, you understand before reacting, you forgive before they even apologize. And this is leadership at the highest level. People follow those who lead with grace, not guilt. If somebody's making you feel guilty, then you don't want to follow them, because all they're doing is just making you feel guilty, and they'll continue to make you feel guilty because it's a habit of theirs. But if you work with somebody who is going to help you, hold your hand, lock arms with you, and give you that tough love that we all need, then you're going to want to work with somebody who practices grace. And here's another piece that ChatGPT helped me with. Grace in business, the secret weapon. In entrepreneurship, grace looks like extending kindness to customers who are learning. Like I said, I had to learn, and it's just, I like to use basic stories. I mean, if you remember, if you're a parent, the very first time, if you ever observed your baby walking or learning how to walk, that's how we learn. We trial and error. We fall. We stumble. We crawl. We fall again. It just, before you know it, you're standing up. So you have to do that and remember. That's the biggest problem. You don't remember that we all had to go through it. Same thing when you learn how to drive, learn how to use a phone, learn how to use a computer, learn your current job. We're learning machines, and that's what we were talking about the other day with a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. So grace is a cycle. What you receive, you give. What you give comes back multiplied. And so that's why here, what I think is good for everybody, TikTok lives get you out to the world. Get you and your message. Forget about selling. All we're doing is giving people options. Everybody has to make their own decisions. And that takes the burden off of you. Your job is to say, hey, you have a problem? I have a solution. But it's up to you to take the option. There's an option. It's right there. 90-Day Freedom Blueprint. You have the option to do it, don't do it. All right? So, one of the things, again, is for you to connect with me on my Daily Blueprint site. Watch me. I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday, 4:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, and 4:30 Mountain. And I do it like that because I want to catch the eastern crowd. I want to catch the central crowd, and then I catch my crowd here. And then again, I'm using this as a recording time. I wanted to record these 90-minute videos. We're just hitting an hour. That's 60 minutes already. That I will use to cut up and create more content. I use my ChatGPT to help me stay focused on different things, and I will then, put those into my put this video into YouTube and then into Opus Clips to make other videos. So some action steps for living in grace daily. And again, you can see my ChatGPT in the screen below. Morning mantra: I receive the grace I need to grow, love, and lead today. And I know that every interaction that I have with another teacher, a student, administration staff, that's my chance to help lead them and help put them in the, if they have an issue, if they're not happy or whatever, I want to be their guide. I want to be their helper. I just want to, hold on a second. Unlock. But yeah, so you have to purposely go out there today to add value to other people, solve problems, not be a problem maker, be a problem solver today. In the evening, you can ask yourself, these steps that you can take. Ask, where did I extend grace today? Where could I have extended more? And then weekly practice, choose one area that you've been too hard on yourself. Write a letter of grace to yourself in that area and read it aloud. I've had many mentors, that told me, Rick, you're too hard on yourself, when everybody else thinks you're doing a great job, but you're still too hard on yourself. So you got to step back and realize that, one, you're enough, you're worthy, you can do whatever you need to do. Stop trying to impress anybody and just get the you that's in there out. And you're going to find the right customers, you're going to find the right people, you're going to find the right solution to your problem. And then final thought here: grace is not a pass to avoid responsibility. Remember, it's on you. I can share information with you, I can help you get started, but eventually it's your responsibility. It's the power to rise above shame and walk boldly into your purpose. You're not here to earn grace, you're here to express it. Again, if I went back and looked at my life, sometimes I wondered, how did I even get here to this point? There's a lot of times when I was younger, it doesn't look like it, but I was crazy. And I didn't know how to, I'm surprised that there's times when I could have been dead. Car wrecks, all that. Staying out too late, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And so, you just, now that I'm here, I hit 65, I'm looking to give back. I want to share with others. I want to help them work smarter, not harder. This is the tool to do it, that 90-Day Freedom Blueprint, because excuse me, it's getting cold in it just takes the first step. I mean, because even if you had $100, $300, $600, $900 to start, you just have to start with something. And that helps you take the first step. Because if you can't take that first step, then whatever that thought is in your head, that's going to keep you from taking any steps. And you're going to be stuck where you're at until you make that decision. So, and then so that was the end of that. So then, I actually had ChatGPT help me write a song called Grace Made Me. And the theme is from broken to becoming, from shame to shining, from pressure to purpose. And excuse me, hold on. So anyway, so it goes out here, and it wrote me these verses, and I did put this into my Suno and created this song, and I'll be coming back in and filling it out and putting it into an album online that I'll share as another tool that you can use to, if you don't want to be speaking like this, put your ideas and your thoughts about what you think are the issues. Let ChatGPT help you form something like a song to help you share that. Just get it out, and then have ChatGPT also help you how to solve that issue. And a lot of what we do here and what I teach is a real simple method called self-ICE. S-E-L-F, self, that's us, ICE, I-C-E. We work on our self-image, we work on our self-confidence, and we work on our self-esteem. Those three things get in the way of any other kind of activity you want to do. And so if you focus on that before you do anything else, work on your self-image, self-confidence, self-esteem, that helps you accomplish more. It puts you on the right path. It helps you make better decisions. And so to me, that's the aha learning that I've learned for over my past 65 years. And because again, you only act like how you self-image yourself, have self-confidence, and have self-esteem. If you got 3 flat tires or 3 zeros in those 3 columns, then it's sort of kind of you're just floating through life and you don't know where you're going. But when you have your self-image of who you want to be, I want to be a leader, teacher, and encourager, and I'm doing that now. Self-confidence, I think I have a little bit of self-confidence. And self-esteem is, I know I've made mistakes, but I learn from those mistakes. I know what I have to do. It's my responsibility. If it is to be, it's up to me. I realize that, and so I keep moving forward. And I want to be a leader to help other people get past their roadblocks and just start taking first steps, because it's just all change happens with just baby steps. Like I said, do one live for 10 minutes. I think you might have heard this story before too. My friend who was wanting to make money online asked me, I go, yeah, well, here, watch these 2 videos. They're both 1 hour long videos. And I said, just watch them, and then when you finish them, let me know, and we'll and if you want to, we can watch them together. I like watching those videos. But she couldn't get it into her schedule. It was always this got in the way, and that got in the way, and this, and then laundry, and then that. I go, here's the map. I'm giving them to you, but you're not taking action on them. And then, and so that's where people are at. I can give you 2 videos. By the way, if you want those videos, in the comments, write down videos, and I'll share those videos with you. 2 hours, and you're going to get so much free training, because they're YouTube videos, that you will say, I need to be doing this. So just type in the comments videos, and I will send the links to you. But first, go sign up and get into the blueprint, because it's all in there too. Anyway, so that was that. And let me see here. What else we have in here? Again, with ChatGPT, you never have to be wondering what. You don't got to worry about what's no more. It's all in there. You just got to learn how to ask the questions, how to formulate the questions, how to ask ChatGPT to help solve the problems that you think are holding you back. And then, again, the other day, in one of my videos or my lives, I put, so I had a lot of books. And this past couple of weeks, I've been trying to get rid of books. And I've been donating them to a friend of mine who sells them on Amazon or does something with them. All I know is I want to keep a couple of books or some books. The rest I need to get rid of. And so I gave it to him, and I held on to them for a long time because I always thought if I needed it, there's my, I can go to the bookcase and I could look for my answers. But we don't got to do that anymore. Everything is on the internet. Everything is there. But I knew that, but I was still hanging on to my books. And so, I have my subscription to my my Audible. So I got books on Audible. I have the YouTube. There's people on YouTube that read books. So if there are certain books, they'll read it to you. But what I liked the best was I can go in here into ChatGPT and say, hey, why don't you, give me a summary of this book title. And so here, the next subject that I did yesterday, God, was it just yesterday that I did this? So I have this book that I read a long time ago, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And to me, again, it's not that it's hard reading, but it is hard reading. If you don't like reading, it's hard because it's not a lot. I think there's like 260 pages. Yeah, 268 pages. But if you can't get past all that stuff that's in here, there's a lot of information, a lot of factual stuff, but it boils down to certain things, right? And so I personally like knowing the summary version first. I just need, I wanted ChatGPT to help me put this book into the way that I could learn it. Because I like summary versions. I don't like the details. I like summary, high level. How does it fit? How does it work? And so I just typed in the book title, and I put Summarize Psycho-Cybernetics, and give me the top 10 keys from this book. And then it came back, Summary of Psycho-Cybernetics, a foundational book in self-image, psychology, and personal development. And so, again, the core idea, your self-image is the blueprint of your personality, behavior, and success. If you change the way you see yourself, you change everything else in your life. Dr. Maltz, a plastic surgeon, observed that some patients experienced positive life transformations after surgery, while others remained mentally stuck. He realized that the inner perception, not the outer appearance, was the root cause of transformation. So in order for you to change, you got to change yourself in here first. You got to see yourself different. And a book like this will help you do that. He introduced the idea of servo mechanism, and your mind is a goal-seeking system. When you feed it clear, positive mental pictures of your goals, your affirmations, visualization, again, you're feeding your mind to see the good things, to see what's available, to see what's possible. But if all you can see is what's not possible, then that's what your brain's going to show you. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have this. And it shows you all the things that you can't do. But if you start thinking what's possible, it's going to bring you all the stuff that's possible. So again, your mind is a goal-seeking system. When you feed it, you're going to get what you feed it. And then again, just like a missile adjusts mid-flight to hit a target. So the top keys, this will be the last 15 minutes of this live, is one, the top 10 keys from Psycho-Cybernetics. Your self-image determines your success. And like I said, so to me, the self-ice is the formula. Self-image, self-confidence, and self-esteem. So you want to be working on those 3 items, because it says here you will act like the sort of person you conceive yourself to be. Update your mental blueprint if you want a different life. You cannot outperform your own self-concept. So if your self-concept says, I can't learn TikTok lives, I can't learn any of this stuff, then you're not going to learn it. But if you say you can, and you're going to make mistakes along the way, and you accept that, and you keep moving forward, you're going to become better. And that's all we're trying to do, is become better, because there's a lot of different things that need to get done. But the first thing you got to work on is you, because everything else out here is irrelevant until you work in here first. All right. So number 2 key item was your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Your subconscious works like a heat-seeking missile. And here comes my inactivity detection thing here. Forgive 1 second while I do a verification. I'll keep talking because I know it's still recording. Your subconscious works like a heat-seeking missile. Give it a clear target, with visualization, affirmations, mental rehearsal, and it will adjust to your behavior to hit that goal. Imagination is greater than willpower. Mental rehearsal, seeing yourself already winning, is more powerful than forcing outcomes. You must feel first in your imagination before you experience in reality. So that means, like in me, my top 3 things were leader, teacher, encourager, and I got those from not a personality test, but a spiritual gifts assessment that I took in this one church that I attended, when they tried to find a place that you could be best use your talents. And so that's where my teaching, leading, and encouraging came from. And so that goes into your head, and you keep thinking to yourself as that, and then you'll have the hold on a second here. Yeah. But it all starts here, because you start thinking about it. And then once you start thinking about it, you start acting like it. You start feeling like it. So I'm not super special about anything, really, except for the part that I like to learn. I have a positive mindset. I try not to let things get to me. But other than that, I'm just like you, except that I want things. I want different things. I want to accomplish things, and I've really never been about the money, because at the end of the day, the money's going to come, but it's just the sharing with other people that gets me going. Number 4, you can replace old negative beliefs. Your self-image is built by experiences. I've had a lot of experiences in my life, but most were false conclusions from childhood. The good news, it can be reprogrammed with new experiences and mental pictures. Again, whatever you thought your life was in the past, you can forget it, because that's what it is. It's in the past. It can be reprogrammed. What you thought happened probably didn't even happen, but you made some words about it into your head, and next thing you know, that's how you're living. I'm not good enough. I don't have value. People don't like me. All those kind of things. You fed that stuff to yourself because of something that happened, and so now we got to get rid of it. Happiness is a habit. You don't find happiness. You practice it. Learn to respond, not react. Build a habit of gratitude, optimism, and self-forgiveness. All these are habits. Habits is what we do every day. When you wake up in the morning and you get out on the same side of the bed, that's a habit. You go, fix your coffee a certain way, that's a habit. You brush your teeth in a certain way, that's a habit. You go into your car and you drive the same route, that's a habit. So you got to learn how to create your happiness habits. Number 7, failure is feedback, not identity. You are not your past mistakes. We all make mistakes. Failure simply shows us what not to do. It's part of your course correction system. So don't worry about making mistakes. Live in the present moment. Stop dwelling on the past or fearing the future. Focus your energy on the here and now. This is the only place where change can happen and occur. Number 9, you already have a success mechanism inside of you. It's built in. You're not broken. You've just been programmed with faulty goals. Reprogram yourself by aligning with truth, love, and possibility. Because if you think it's possible, then you're going to be working on it. And it's just going to be an easy fix. If you don't think it's possible, then you're not going to work on it. So make sure that you think anything is possible, because anything is possible. And number 10, relaxation enhances performance. Stress and pressure shut down your creative success mechanism. Relaxation, confidence, faith open the door to inspiration and flow. And so this thing is going to be it is not helping me verify my live, so it may kick me out here in just a second. But anyway, we got an hour and 20 minutes in. That's good. Again, any action steps, journal your current self-image, ask some hard questions. What am I thinking about? Who do I see myself as? And, because that's who you're acting like. Whoever it is that you're thinking yourself as, that's the way you act. I always liked, one of my stories was, I used to watch Tony Robbins when he was doing those infomercials in the middle of the night. And I said, man, I like that guy. I want to do what he does. And so you can start talking like him and acting like him and being like him, because he exuded that confidence. And so I think that's where I got some of my confidence factor out of that. But anyway, now with ChatGPT, like I said, you have your personal counselor, your coach, right at your tip of your fingers. But it's limited because it only has its experiences that you share with it. But anyway, I think my live is gonna kick me out here in just a minute. I want to see if I can try to refresh it. Give me 1 second. What else? Like I said, if you want those videos, those 2 videos that I was telling you that can change the way you see things, type in videos into the comments. I'll get those to you. If you want to know more or want to connect with me, go to the website that's on the screen and sign up there, and let's start a dialogue. What else? That's all I had for right now. It's going to be kicking me out here in 13 seconds, I think. So I don't know what's going on with this thing. Yep, kick me out. Oh, there we are. Yeah, it's going to kick me out. So anyway, we'll see you tomorrow, 4:30 in the morning, Mountain Standard Time. Let's chat then, all right? Oh, maybe it's not going to kick me out. It doesn't look like it's going to kick me out.